Welcome. I'd like to call this May 8th, 2023 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hazeltine. Present. Lamb.
Here.
Present.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson. Here. Coin.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes from the regular meeting of the April 24th, 2023 meeting be approved as submitted by the clerk.
Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. There are several items, because everything goes through finance, that'll be on the agenda. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a health, safety, and sanitation meeting prior to our finance meeting tonight, and I have nothing else scheduled at this time.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening and no meeting scheduled.
Special Legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report, but I have 2 meetings scheduled. One is this Wednesday, May 10th at 5 o'clock, and that is on parking in the Historic District. And on May 15th at 5 o'clock, I have a special legislation meeting on prohibiting feeding wild animals.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report and no scheduled meetings.
Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing new to report and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Emerging Technologies, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Next item is request for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. We have 2398 budget amendments, 2399 purchasing card policy update, 23100 job creation grant all fasteners USA LLC, 23101 agreement with Kleinfelder Administrative Services CHIP grant, 23102 change of vendor PO 2022-1601 rotunda flooring project for ARPA, 23103 use of remaining ARPA funds, 23104 agreement with IMGIS GIS system renewal engineering, 23105 discussion regarding collection of signatures for petitions, 23106 revised civil service rules communication operators lateral transfers, and 23107 EMA agreement. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The National Day of Prayer event was held on May 4th, Thursday, May 4th. There was a prayer breakfast at Cornerstone Chapel at 6:30 a.m. And then throughout the day, there were various prayer stations around the city from noon to 7. And St. Francis Church also had a service at 9:15 a.m. Several local churches and their respective pastors took part in the day's events. This past weekend, May 6th and 7th, the Love Medina program took place. This is organized by Grace Medina out by the Medina Airport. Other churches that participated were Grace Church from Westerfield, Medina First Baptist Church, Medina Nazarene, and the Chapel Medina. There were a total of 900 volunteers over the 2 days. All did service projects for city senior and disabled citizens. Thankful and appreciative of the churches in our community working together and supporting one another, as well as helping with our community needs. The Medina Farmers Market will take place on Public Square starting Saturday, May 20th, and it goes through the entire summer all the way till October 7th. The hours for the public are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'd like to thank Main Street Medina for organizing this ongoing event. And last but not least, Ladies' Night Out on Medina Public Square. Businesses will be at Public Square businesses will be May 11th from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And again, this is organized by Main Street Medina. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll address the appropriation adjustments when we get there. Other than that, I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Toth, LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through April, the life support team responded to 1,128 calls for the city of Medina. For all three entities, we responded to 1,664. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladish, building official.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quick, now that we are into the spring-summer lawn growing season, I want to let everyone know that the city of Medina does have a tall grass and weed ordinance. The ordinance is enforced through the building department and its property maintenance code. The height is 6 inches. We understand that at times there may be situations that may delay the lawn maintenance, such as weather, illness, vacation, emergency, or even equipment breakdowns. We will do everything possible in a business-friendly way to work things out. This is especially true for the sick and elderly. We have a 3-step approach for compliance. First is to try to resolve in a friendly way with an in-person site visit or by telephone. Second is a written letter. Third is a written notice. If still no compliance and every option is exhausted, the lawn maintenance is then scheduled to be cut by the city's third-party landscaping contractor. The cost to the city to pay the contractor, including legal and recording fees, are assessed to the property tax. The end goal is for everyone to be proud of their neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did have a report. We are about 2 weeks away from the concrete paving operations on Prospect Street. Currently, it's scheduled, weather permitting, for the week of May 22nd. When that's completed, no traffic will be permitted on the street, on the new pavement, for 5 days. We notified residents last week of the proposed schedule. We identified several adjacent city streets where overnight parking will be allowed. And we also reached out to several businesses near Prospect, and several of them offered to allow residents to park during that time. We appreciate that, and we've notified the residents of those locations. Anyone that has any questions, concerns, please call the engineering department at 330-725-8861. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business. We have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public were permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments should be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? You sure this is a great opportunity? Okay, just checking. Okay, introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules and requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 8923, ordinance 9023, 9123, and 9223.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on a motion to suspend the rules on the 3 readings? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 8923, a resolution accepting a donation from Larry and Francine Johns of the Helos Project, an interactive display of our solar system to be installed along the Champion Creek multipurpose trail.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Who would like to handle this one?
Mr. President.
Oh, Mayor.
So Jansen wasn't able to make it tonight because he's coaching a baseball game for his son. So he gave me notes on this and the next one. His notes for 8923 are Larry and Francine Johns with McJack Candy, who are present here this evening, are graciously donating an interactive display of our solar system that will be installed along the Champion Creek multipurpose trail from 406 South Broadway, which is the Spokes Cafe, to Southport Drive. The estimated value of the donation is approximately $65,000, and Jansen hopes to have the project completed by this fall. I don't know if Mr. or Mrs. Johns would like to speak.
Yes, I know that you brought a display. If you just want to talk just a little bit, and maybe Jared can focus on what the display is at the back microphone, that would be great. Because I know I think you brought Neptune with you. Wait, can you give him a microphone, Chief? Is there a way to get that?
Just briefly, this is an actual stand. Standard Welding made these, and they'll be making all the rest. There's about 13 of these altogether, one for every planet, and there's also 3 galaxies that will be displayed on this type of a pedestal. Stainless steel with a granite surface for mounting the planets. I chose Neptune because it's like an average size one. They'll be as small as 2 or 3 millimeters, all the way up to about 3 times this size for Jupiter. And then the galaxies will be represented slightly differently, but on the same type of thing. And then this is an example of a permanent sign for outdoor use from Medina Sign. It should last at least 7 years and will be facing northward, so probably a little longer, but they can be replaced over time if they start to show signs of weathering and wear. And all the portion that we're donating will be ready by June or July.
Thank you, and we appreciate the donation. We think this will be a great addition to the trail, and I think hopefully the kids and the schools will take advantage of it, and this will be a very good addition to our community, realizing how small we really are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on that?
Mr. President, I just wanted to thank Mr. and Mrs. Johns. It's good to see you, Francine, here too. I know Larry has been so passionate about this and has taken so much time and effort, and we're just really excited. Our students are excited and city's excited, so thank you for doing something like this. This will be a gift that will be there for many, many years, I hope. So.
I just wanted to say, Larry and Francine, you're stars in the city of Medina, so.
Okay.
I thought about that earlier this afternoon, but it's true. You guys rock,
To
yeah.
tell people you put a lot of thought into Joe's
Yeah, I did, yeah. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank you too, and I get the advantage of getting to see this as it is on my regular walking path. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have always been great, back from the nursery days till now. Everybody loves you.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Resolution 8923 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9023, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one 2023 Ford F-150 pickup truck from National Auto Fleet Group for the Parks Department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on emergency clause and ordinance. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. This vehicle is being purchased through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program and will be replacing a 2009 GMC truck. This purchase was identified through the 2022 budgeting process and deferred due to the lack of inventory of the trucks in 2022. The emergency clause is requested because the National Auto Fleet Group informed us that the order cut off was August 19th, 2022 for the model year 2023. This unit is currently in production. Estimated lead time is mid to late summer.
Okay. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 9023 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9123, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Mark Claus Properties LLC for the use of the parking lot area located on the permanent parcel number 02819B20103.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance. Mr. Dutton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a request to enter an agreement with Mark Claus Properties LLC for the southern Castle Noel lot at the northeast corner of South Court and Smith Road. The agreement will be for 5 years, where the city will continue to maintain the lot. Mr. Claus will have the ability to close the lot for certain events with notification. The emergency clause has been requested as we had some fine tuning to do on the contract language, and the current agreement expires on May 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Reggie. I knew I flipped somebody else.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 91-23 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 92-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 221-22 passed December 12, 2022, amendments to the 2023 budget.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are mostly transfers to cover various grants, and then there's some additions for the airport.
Any further comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 92-23 passes 7-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, Larry and Francine, thank you so much. I know this is going to be appreciated by the entire community, but especially the students and old people like me. So, second, we've had so many horrible things that's happened, throughout our nation, and well, for the last several years. But it just seems like every day you're reading of some tragedy that's happening someplace in the country. Hatred has no place in our country. It baffles me. So I'd want to remind everybody, it's a simple task. Be kind to one another. In regarding some of the issues that we discussed in finance tonight, when it comes up to free speech, again, just remember, free speech is something when somebody speaks that you totally disagree with. That's what free speech is about. If you agree with them, if you agree with what they're saying, it's just called speech. So keep that in mind. Even though you may disagree with a lot of people, you can openly disagree. Just try to do it with kindness. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. President?
Mr. Rose?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. To the Johns family, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. I don't normally get to that end of town for walking, but I'm going to start. Okay, all right. And another thank you goes out to Medina Kids Care and Rusty Rose, my daughter-in-law, for a great fundraiser for the county home residents. They had a horse show yesterday at the fairgrounds where the kids had a chance to show off their skills on horse riding and everything that they do. I still don't understand it. One of these days I will. But also the proceeds that they get from this charity goes directly to, 100% of it goes directly to the residents of the county home to help them with the things that they don't get, like, special personal care needs, for example, some extra entertainment, and some food sometimes, things like that, to make their life a little bit better over there. So thank you, Rusty, and your mom and dad and the family for everything that you've done for them.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Mr. Lamb?
Thank you. Thank you for the solar system. It will be
Well, hold it. They didn't do it, God did. They're giving you a representation.
Mouth.
You can't interrupt me like that. Okay, we'll do this again. Thank you for the solar system. It's going to be great. I've talked to you before. It'll be exciting. Kids will love it. And my favorite non-planet thing that's in the solar system, though, is our moon, right? Because as a kid, it was the one thing I could see, and I could see how the moon changes. It took me a long time to figure out the phases of the moon as a child, right? But I love what you did completely. And I also want to congratulate our group, our nonprofit that gathers up stray cats in town. They had a fundraiser on the weekend, and it was one of those fundraisers that's kind of an exception, I think, because usually when you go to stuff, about 50% of the people that are there, or maybe more. And when I went, there was about 300 people there. There were so many people there, there was not a seat for everybody that was there to eat dinner. And they raised quite a bit of money, and and Elvis Presley was there, whom I have never seen live, but I got to see him at the fundraiser. But it's an amazing group, and Carrie and Mike Huff are the two people that really are the organizers of it, and they've got to be two of the hardest working people that I know to provide this really humane avenue for spay and neutering stray cats and really helping the community to deal with them in a kind way. So just wanted to congratulate them on the great success of their fundraiser.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, Medina Meow Fix is
Yes.
the name of the
Yeah,
nonprofit.
I threw that in there. I have it written down. Medina Meow Fix.
Thank you. Any other council comments? All right, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.
This is a record.